Welcome to the wonderful, exciting world of learning by television. I sincerely hope that you will enjoy learning to sew or pick up many hints to improve your sewing. To help you know what will be covered, we will start each lesson with a quick preview like this. It has been such fun preparing these lessons for you. I am very glad that you have joined me in my clothing corner, but we're not going to stay just here. You will travel to New York with me and tour a pattern company. I was fascinated with finding out how many people were involved with making one pattern, and I think you will enjoy this lesson. We will also go to the Philadelphia College of Textiles and Science, and you will learn just how fabrics are made and what you can expect from the fibers on today's market. You will learn how to get the most out of one pattern that fits you or any family member perfectly by some simple pattern drafting. And you will see step by step how to obtain a perfect fit in any garment you sew, as well as what to look for when you go shopping to get the most satisfaction from your own creations. Let me show you some of the things that you will be able to sew by the end of this course. Children's clothes are always a joy to create because they are so very much appreciated. A new dress or shirt or pair of pants is always worth an extra big love. Men's clothing may be made from Jiffy Simple patterns to tailoring designer patterns, all depending on your own background in sewing. A custom-tailored suit like this can be made at home for a third the cost. Simple dresses like these may be a better match for your abilities. Starting with simple garments gives you great satisfaction because you can create them in a limited amount of time. Combining a simple dress like this with ready-made sweaters and blouses may be just what you need to make your wardrobe more versatile. And there is so much more you can make. With one perfect fitting pants pattern, you will see how it can be varied to create all these styles. And you will also see how to sew from simple to tailored tops for your outfits. You will be learning a variety of methods for doing each technique. If you wish to learn the factory method with no pins or basting, you may select the Jiffy Fast sewing methods. Or you may want to learn dressmaker or tailoring techniques. These will be demonstrated with the close-up lens of the television camera that make learning so easy. Menswear, children's wear, entire wardrobes for the family are possible to make right in your own home. The pattern companies, upon request by the consumer, have even come up with furniture, bedspreads, hats, bathing suits, and fun pillows to sew at home. Whatever your needs, lingerie, work uniforms, baby clothes, any item for your wardrobe, you can make it yourself. Evening gowns may be created, nightwear. A whole variety of sewing projects will be possible for you to make by the end of this course. Let Let me give you some suggestions now of projects that you might like to make along with me during the course. I'm going to start with this little basic dress because it has over 200 different basic sewing techniques on it. And you may want to make it up in any of a variety of colors, or you may want to start with a commercial pattern like this and try selecting items that have a collar and sleeves and a zipper. Or you may want to make up a shirt or a variety of things to begin with to learn the basics of sewing. Once you have learned the basics of sewing, then we go into learning to fit from the waist down. And you may want to work with a simple unlined skirt, or maybe you'd like to work with a stretch fabric. Maybe you'd like to learn to line with the stretch fabric. Or maybe you're ready for tailoring and you'd like to do a tailored wool skirt with lining and underlining for that perfect fit. Or maybe you're ready to work with pants and you'd like to learn how to do the fly front zipper and pockets for pants. Or maybe you'd like to learn some of those designer details like fancy pockets like this. Whatever you want, we're going to have the second project teach you how to fit from the waist down just perfectly. And then the third project, I'm going to have you work from the waist up. And for women, you'll be working with a bodice top, and for men, you'll be working with a shirt. And then you'll be making a project that can be a dress or a shirt or a jacket or any one of a whole variety of items depending on your own personal background. Along with creating these projects, let me show you a little about wardrobe coordination that I think you will enjoy. As you invest time in obtaining a pattern that will fit you perfectly, remember the entire wardrobe that awaits you from just the one pattern. Try a small design check that doesn't need matching. Then carefully check the fitting details so that you are happy with the fit of the trousers. Look to the future for jackets that you may make or that you may purchase to coordinate with your pants. They may be worn for business or casually with a turtleneck sweater. Mix and match your wardrobe to obtain the most versatile wear from your completed garments. You might want to make an additional pair in a solid color, and you will find the second pair will take much less time than the first. With a perfect fitting skirt or pants pattern, you are ready to decide exactly what you want to make. Coordinating your new skirt or pants with your existing wardrobe will save you from having to purchase new accessories. So think about having your blouses, your sweaters, your jackets, your coats, or your capes blend with your next project. I would like to give you a summary of exactly what our lessons will cover. This is what you will see and learn during our course. First, you will start with simple alterations. Then, progress to preparing your fabric and the pattern layout. Pinning the pattern to the fabric and then cutting the fabric are the next step. Now you will try one or all of 6 ways to mark the fabric, and then you will arrive at the sewing machine. Stay stitching is the first step, followed by darts, where you will select from one of 4 methods. Professional pressing techniques will give all of your garments a professional look. Shoulder seams are easy, and then you will use one of 3 methods for making a neck facing. Collars are demonstrated from simple to tailoring techniques, while the selection of your collar that will suit you best is also demonstrated. Then you will complete the neckline and then learn how to set in a 5-minute sleeve or sew your sleeve and bodice separate and tailor your sleeve. The skirt is sewn together easily with 4 types of seam finishes and 2 types of hems. Your garment is stitched together, and then the very simple single flap zipper is inserted in 2 steps. Hooks and eyes are added, and your garment is completed. Once you have completed your first project or projects, you will tour with me to see exactly how a pattern is made. We have been able to show you one pattern from its planning stage through your opening the catalog in your own local fabric store and seeing that pattern. Then I will show you the steps to follow to obtain a perfect fit from the waist down. One lesson will be on fitting a skirt pattern, then another on fitting men's or women's pants patterns. A third lesson will show you exactly how to check your pattern on fitting, then how to vary the styles for your personal preference. But before you go shopping for that next project, you will first see how line, design, and color may be used to enhance your figure best. Diagonal lines can create a very strong impact. When a horizontal line is added to the diagonal line, the impact of that diagonal line is lessened. Color is our next subject. With over 200 million people in our world representing over 1 million different combinations of hair and eyes and skin color, successful color selection is a very complex subject, and I'd like to take you through some of the terms now. But one suggestion is to hold the fabric up to yourself when you go in the store and look in a mirror. See if you like it, and that's a good test to start with. Hue means color. For example, the hue of the fabric was blue. Hue is the property of color by which it is identified. Value means the relative lightness or darkness of a color. Tint is the variations of a hue when white is added. Shade is the variations of a hue when black is added. Intensity is the brightness or the dullness of a hue. A pure hue is the brightest intensity. By adding gray, the intensity is gradually reduced. Primary hues are the basic colors. The first primary hue is magenta, or red. The second primary hue is yellow. The third primary hue is cyan, or blue. These three primary colors of red, yellow, and blue can be mixed to make all other colors. The secondary hues result when equal amounts of any two primary hues are mixed. When red and yellow are mixed, they create orange. When red and blue are mixed, they make violet. And when yellow and blue are mixed, the secondary color of green is formed. Secondary colors then include orange, violet, and green. Fibers and fabrics. How to make the best choice for the pattern you want to make. 2 lessons on these subjects will give you the background to be a wise consumer. In this fabrics lesson, you will see how a hand loom works, then progress to modern looms that create fabrics at phenomenal speeds. Listen to some of the information. Head, or the opening, on a device called the shuttle. The filling yarns are then beaten into place by the reed, which also keeps each warp thread even and parallel. The harness is used to raise and lower each warp yarn. For more intricate weaves, additional harnesses are used. Each harness is made up of a series of heddles, or eyes, which carries 1 warp yarn. In preparing the loom, a great deal of time is needed to thread each heddle. The finished fabric is woven on a cloth beam. The plain weave results in a fabric with a flat surface which can be very durable if closely constructed, and a durable fiber is selected. It is an inexpensive method for constructing fabrics, and a great many variations may be made through printing and dyeing and using various colored yarns. One of the things that I have enjoyed most about shooting this series is being able to show close-up the details of sewing. This is a skill that must be practiced, and I always think of a little baby that's trying to learn to walk, and it's up and down, and up and down, until the day comes when walking becomes automatic. I would recommend that you approach sewing with the determination of a little child learning to walk. With the use of television, I expect you to master the skills very rapidly. Look at this close-up of the fly front zipper. Now, this edge has been basted, and that's holding it flat. Now, turn your zipper over,
And you'll notice that this side is what is basted down, and this side naturally lays against the fly on right along here. And so the first stitching that you're going to do is to actually stitch the zipper tape to this extension. And we're going to stitch it very, very close to the zipper teeth themselves. Now, you could pin baste this stitch and then regular stitch it, or you may want to machine baste it and then stitch it. Now at the top here, I'm going to sew right into my little scrap, and this stitching line has stitched the tape just to the flap itself. It's not to the outside yet. And you'll see when we get done where this helps to hold the zipper back. To reinforce this, I recommend that you sew a second line along here. If this stitching line comes out in pants that you make or that you have purchased, it's very difficult to get back in because of a stitching line that we do in just a little bit.
After you have made your second project and mastered the fit from the waist down, you are ready to learn to fit from the waist up. For women, the bodice is fitted. For men, the basic shirt or jacket. Once a basic pattern is fitted, then any type of garment may be constructed, depending again on your own sewing background. I will be showing you a variety of methods for sewing dresses, shirts, blouses, and tailoring jackets and coats. You will also see designer details like special seams, covered snaps, top stitching, all kinds of pockets, and buttonholes by machine or bound buttonholes like I am showing here. Your pattern may come with these details, or you may wish to add them to create your own individual style. Let me recommend some equipment and supplies that you will need during the sewing course. First, you're going to need some fabric, and I recommend a good, durable, medium weight cotton or cotton and polyester blend that is durable and that you will enjoy sewing on. Try to find a label that states less than 1% shrinkage, or fabric shrinkage not more than 1%. You will need only 1 yard if you are making a miniature dress. And if you're making a commercial pattern, look at the back of the envelope and look at the pattern size, the view, and the width of your fabric to determine the amount that you're going to work with. But pick one that you would like to work on. It would be nice if you try to learn underlining at this point, and again check on your underlining to be sure that it is been pre-shrunk. And you may work with a cotton-like underlining or a silk-like underlining depending on your experience. Let me show you how you can quickly test either your fabric or your lining if you want to see if it has been pre-shrunk. Cut 2 pieces the exact same size, and on this fabric I have just shrunk this top layer. I have just placed the iron on it with some steam, and look at what has happened here. This is how much it has shrunk, so I would know that I'd want to be sure that I pre-shrink my fabric before I work with it. Experiment with interfacings also in working with this project, and you'll find that there are really only 2 kinds of interfacings. There's a woven interfacing like this one, and there's a non-woven interfacing. And if you're making the little mini dress, then try one in each collar. If you're working on a regular size dress, then pick one and use it for the entire garment. You'll need about 1/4 of a yard of woven interfacing and about 1/8 of a yard of non-woven interfacing. Now, next you're going to need to have thread, and thread should be selected so that it has the same fiber content as the fabric that you're working with. And you would need 1 large spool or 2 small spools of thread if you're going to be working with the mini garment, and you'd want a spool of contrasting thread. Pins come in quite a variety of styles. Colored heads are very popular, and these large corsage pins are very easy to work with if you like to save time. They are more expensive, but they're great to work with if time is important to you. A pin cushion is optional, but it's really quite handy. This one's handy because it has this little needle sharpener in it. And you may prefer the wrist pin cushion or any one of a group of others that are on the market. Shears and scissors you're going to want to work with. Now, scissors have small blades. They're normally 3 to 5 inches long, and notice the shape of the scissors. Shears have longer blades, and they're normally 4 to 7 inches long.
And they're used to cut garments accurately. Notice when I hold my shears like this, I can keep the edge along the table and I can cut, and they are helped to be guided this way. Shears are for cutting fabric, scissors are for trimming threads and trimming fabrics. You can trim threads with shears, but you shouldn't try to cut out garments with scissors. You may like to work with some of the new electric scissors that are on the market today. They work very fast and very easy. I just recommend that you practice first before you work with them. A light is helping with that. Go out and compare the different brands on the market and see which you would like to work with. A tape measure is also of benefit. I recommend that you get a good durable one that has the numbers reversed on the other side so that they go the opposite direction. Transparent tape, some that you can write on, and that's a 1/2 inch wide, is invaluable in working on this project. And we use it for altering and for getting our sewing seam straight in our zippers, so get some transparent tape that's easy to work with. Dressmaker's tracing paper comes in a whole variety of brands, and I recommend that you look for a brand that states washable and dry cleanable so that it will come out easily if you have any kinds of problems with it. There are also a whole variety of tracing wheels on the market, and you need to select one that's good and durable. This one with the wide teeth, with the big teeth, is for woolens, but one like this with these smaller teeth is usable for the majority of fabrics. Another device that's on the market is a tacket, and you punch it like that with your tracing paper in the middle, and it makes little holes in your fabric. This is optional, and you may like to work with it. Needles come in this whole variety of types, and you will actually find that hand sewing needles come in various lengths that range from 1 to 24. But you'll find that generally sizes 7 through 10 are good for most purposes. Now there are several different kinds of needles. Let me show you the 4 main kinds. Embroidery needles are the ones that are very easy to thread. They have long eyes, and they're good for general use. Your sharps have very small rounded eyes, and they are also good for general use if you like a smaller needle. Betweens are shorter needles. They are smaller, they have a rounded eye, and they're very easy to work with. On sheer fabrics, milliner's needles might be the selection that you'd like to work with. And they're extra long so that they're easy to work with. See how long they are compared to the others. Look at over here and you'll see that we actually have only 2 kinds of eyes in needles, the long eye and the round eye. And pick the type of needle that you want depending on the kind of fabric that you're working with. The plastic 15-inch see-through ruler. This is an invaluable aid in marking and in altering garments. However, a strip of manila folder is also of use. You're going to want to select a zipper, a 9-inch zipper for your project, and you can select it as either a metal or a nylon coil zipper. Grosgrain ribbon is used to hold the stay tape together, and again, look for that pre-shrinking label so you don't have to worry about shrinking it. The grosgrain should be about 5/8 of an inch wide, and it should be the length of the waist plus about 4 or 5 inches. Select some hooks and eyes, either silver or black, whichever would show least. And don't forget that care label. They're at your store and they're available for the asking, and then sew that in your garment so you'll know how it should be cared for. You'll also want to look for a variety of zippers if you want to try some different kinds of zippers, and I recommend a couple of short ones like this. You can use some old ones if you want to try a couple of the different ways of putting a zipper in. If you want to do one of the new invisible seam zippers, then select one of those zippers or a novelty zipper. You will also want to work with a seam ripper. These are optional supplies. I recommend a very tiny seam ripper end for close work. It works very nicely. Get a thimble that fits your finger. Look for a ruler like this. This is called an easy hem, and they're invaluable in sewing your hems in. Then also look for a 6-inch hem and a 6-inch hem gauge. You need some tailor's chalk, some beeswax to make your threads work easily. You need some tweezers and some other items to keep your machine going well, your oil and your little brush. Get some other supplies like these that may help your machine, and then look for the kind of iron and ironing board equipment that may be needed. Be sure that your iron has lots of steam holes and have a good sturdy iron. One last comment. If your label did not say less than 1% shrinkage, then wash, dry, and iron your fabric, your ribbon, and your zipper before you proceed. At the end of each lesson, I will quickly review the key parts of that day's lesson. So now, let's go to the review. During this course, you will learn the basics of sewing, like fabric preparation, layout, pinning, and cutting. Close-up shots of each step of construction, like snipping, will help you progress rapidly. Special hints to help you at the sewing machine will also help your sewing progress smoothly. There are all kinds of individuals who make up our world, and one method of sewing does not work for everyone, so a variety of methods are shown, like sewing a sleeve with no pins or basting, or tailoring a sleeve for a perfect fit. You can choose the method you want to learn or try several. Then evaluate your work. You will learn so much more as you check each step to see how well you progress. The basics will also include zippers, like the Jiffy Simple Single Flap Zipper you see here. Your first project may be a miniature dress which includes the majority of sewing techniques needed to make just about any garment you would like. Or you may wish to work with a commercial pattern for a little girl's dress, a shirt, or other projects of your choice. After this first project, come tour with me to see just how a pattern is made. And then select your next project. A garment to fit from the waist down will be altered to obtain a perfect fit. You may construct a skirt or pants, or maybe you would like to try both items. It's all up to you. Then, line, design, color, and wardrobe coordination will help you feel confident when selecting your sewing projects. You will see how modern fabrics and fibers are constructed, which will help you when shopping for ready-made products as well as your creative home-sewn garments. Learning to fit from the waist up will include garments like dresses, blouses, and jackets for women, shirts for men with all kinds of variations like long and short sleeves, tab or plain fronts, simple pullover or button fronts. Tailoring techniques for the ultimate in professional sewing will be shown for making suits and coats for men and women. Special designer details you can make on any of your creations will complete the course. So go shopping and select your supplies now. Keep all of your supplies neatly in a box and join me in the next lesson, which will introduce you to pattern language and show you some simple alterations. Bye for now.